And there I was the girl from Suits.
This one's wife. 40th birthday inheritance. Oh, we'll hand the millions back. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. You will have heard already about the fact that Harry's going to inherit some dosh from the late Queen Mother. Yes, the late Queen Mother, she enjoyed her G&Ts and the gambling on the horse racing. And of course, she was known for staying in London during the Blitz, embodying that Blitz spirit. And she decided that old has-no-balls was going to be left some dosh. For those who aren't fully familiar, a little bit of background. Prince Harry, as the Telegraph reports with Fiona Parker, Prince Harry is set to receive millions of pounds from the late Queen Mother when he celebrates his 40th birthday on September the 15th. The Duke's great-grandmother is understood to have put aside around £19 million into a trust fund, so some of those GGs came in for her great-grandchildren, then the equivalent of around two-thirds of her fortune in 1994. Reports at the time in the Observer newspaper suggested that William and Harry would claim the inheritance in two payments, on their 21st and 40th birthdays. At the time, it was not known whether the deposit, made when the late Queen Mother was 94, would be subjected to inheritance tax. However, as the monarch's mother went on to live until 2002, it cleared the 7-year threshold and is tax-free as a result. And what a result! And while details of the trust fund have not been made public, royal experts have previously suggested Prince Harry would receive more money than his brother as compensation for not being a sovereign. Nice work if you can get it. A former palace aide told The Times, "There was a trust fund set up at the time. It was a way in which the Queen Mother could set aside money for when her great-grandchildren were older, and a way of passing a slice of her estate down in a tax-efficient way. It was a way in which some of her estate could be ring-fenced for them. It is understood the two brothers received £6 million between them at 21 and a further £8 million upon turning 40. Prince William, who turned 40 in June 2022, went on to become the Prince of Wales, Duke of Cornwall, and heir apparent when his father King Charles ascended the throne. Last year, the Prince of Wales received £23.6 million from the estate. Previous reports named the Princess Royal's children, Zara and Peter Phillips, as beneficiaries of the fund, along with the Duke of York's daughters Beatrice and Eugenie, together with Princess Margaret's children, Viscount Linley and Lady Sarah Chatto. The princes were left about £6.5 million each when their mother, Diana, Princess of Wales, died 23 years ago. I thought it was 27 years ago. Anyway, Telegraph must have let a typo slip through. The sum was invested and gathered substantial interest, so Prince Harry inherited around £10 million on his 30th birthday, which has probably been spunked on PR puff pieces in People and Tatler, etc., and going on shitty clothing. They were also left her wedding dress, designed by David and Elizabeth Emanuel and made of thousands of pearls, silk layers and a 25-foot train. Before they left the United States, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex said they had previously received 95% of their annual income from King Charles, then the Prince of Wales. Meanwhile, the taxpayer-funded sovereign grant made up the final 5%, they claimed. After stepping down as senior royals, King Charles gave the couple a substantial sum to help them set up their new life in America. Since their move to Montecito, California, the couple has made vast sums of money on a series of business ventures. In April, it was reported the Duke of Sussex had already made £22 million from his memoir Spare, which became the UK's fastest-selling non-fiction book ever after being published by Penguin Random House in January 2023. Previous ventures include £25 million from Spotify and £81 million from Netflix, although I very much doubt they've received anywhere near that amount. However, the Duke's failed legal fight to reinstate taxpayer-funded security for himself and his wife left him facing an estimated legal bill of more than £1 million. Yet the two separate judicial review claims are thought to have cost the taxpayer more than £500,000. In January, it emerged that the Duke faced an estimated legal bill of £750,000 after abandoning a libel claim against the Mail on Sunday concerning an article about his demand for taxpayer-funded security. Thus, the suggestion is that Harry's going to be coming into the money. And of course, we all know that money is hugely important to this one's wife. As a somatic narcissist, it is a particularly important aspect. It's a residual benefit. And money allows her to use that in relation to other aspects of the prime aims. It allows her, for instance, to pay for the PR puff pieces through which she seeks to assert control and draw fuel. It enables her to have staff so that she can arse around rage scrolling on social media. It allows her to have a huge house with lots of bathrooms so that she can triangulate people with that. It allows her to spend stupid amounts of money on fashion that doesn't suit her, and so on and so forth. Thus, with a lifestyle that she's become very much accustomed to and the fact that it is a residual benefit, money is massively important to her, and as we all know, she thought Harry was far wealthier than he actually is. Accordingly, a number of millions coming into the Sussex coffers, even though it's Harry's money, remember, this one's wife, as a consequence of her lack of boundary recognition, will see it as her money. What is hers, what is Harry's is hers. And thus, like any narcissist, she will look to lay her hands on this money in order to utilize it for what she sees as important. Now, shouldn't it, of course, be the case that given that this money is coming from the racist royal family, and after all, Love Duck, the late Queen Mother, surely she didn't like people of colour, etc. She was a cockney. She was singing Knees Up Mother Brown and eating jellied eels, etc., etc. Roll out as many barrel stereotypes that you like. But the fact is, this one's wife has repeatedly smeared the royal family. This one's wife has repeatedly taken potshots at the royal family. Therefore, it would follow, wouldn't it, logically, that given that she is supposedly financially independent and an empowered feminist standing on her own 2 feet, that she would say to Harry, "Harry, don't accept this money. We can't take it. It's tainted with the blood of slaves from the colonial past of the British royal family. I, as a truly authentic and organic feminist, declare that we cannot accept this money. We must stay true to our principles. And if that means that you have to sleep in the chicken coop because there's no room for you in the house because I've had to open it up to Syrian refugees, then so be it." That, of course, would be the consistent approach from somebody that would declare, I don't want anything to do with that family, they didn't help me, they didn't support me, and they're racist. But we all know that this one's wife is a massive hypocrite, and therefore she will gladly accept this inheritance money and claim it for her own purposes, rather than refusing it, which is what she ought to do if she were consistent with her principles. As Groucho Marx says, if you don't like my principles, I have others. And it's the same with this one's wife. There is not a chance that she would reject this money because her narcissism deems that it's too important as a residual benefit, and the minor issue of her hypocrisy is something that she doesn't see because her narcissism doesn't bring it to her attention. We can all see it. We can all see that this is a grasping and greedy grifter who is obsessed with money, because it's a residual benefit, who simply will spout principles but then throw those principles into the wind when money comes a-calling. And, whilst she ought to turn around and say, we'll hand the millions back, the only time you'll see that happen is when there are various porcine things flying through the air. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.